Welcome back to another episode of Magic's in the Mess, the go-to podcast for ambitious women ready to stop pretending, start aligning, and finally build success your way. I'm your host, Danielle McKinley, speaker, business and wealth strategist, and your go-to problem-solving hype girl. Here, we'll help you unlock powerful mindset shifts, discover your magic, and bring your dream life into reality. Each week, I'll deliver raw stories, proven business strategies, and powerful transformations with industry leaders to activate the magic in you. So if you're ready to ditch the pressure, the performative BS, and the noise telling you who you should be, hit subscribe and let's make some magic. Welcome to another episode of Magic's in the Mess. Today's guest is the connection queen herself, the powerhouse behind the Table and Collab Culture. She's building spaces where women don't just show up, they transform. Get ready because she's about to drop some wisdom about what true community looks like. Miss Haley, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
I am so happy to have you here. You are just a gem of a human.
Oh, thank you so much.
I remember when I met you at a panel with Kristen Cantrell.
Yep.
And you had your cute trucker hat on and you had your awesome blazer. And I was like, I need to know this girl. And I am so happy to know you. And I know so many people that know you feel the same way.
Oh,
but today, let's get to know you better. Let's get to know not the Haley that everybody puts on a pedestal or is like, oh, I want to be her. She creates these amazing events. Let's like peel it back. So let's go backwards.
Okay.
Where did you identify that you could be a community builder?
You know, it's really interesting. I was actually just talking about this earlier today. So in my former life, in my Haley 1.0, if you will, I spent like 20 years in corporate healthcare administration, and I have a master's degree in leadership. So in my background, people was always at the center, leading large teams, small teams, being a facilitator, going into new markets, and really managing change and being able to get people on board with what that might look like, and managing the egos of a lot of surgeons, which if you are familiar at all, you know that in itself
they
is
are
like
real
a massive,
and large.
Yes, a massive undertaking. I became an entrepreneur after a corporate layoff. There was about 15 executives that were laid off and really struggled with kind of what to do next. The first business that I built was actually a social media agency, which is ironic because I had no interest or passion in that.
Yeah.
But it came from one friend that I had had for a long time reaching out and saying, hey, I know you lost your job. You're creative. You're good with words. You're articulate. Would you be able to help me? And when you go from making a lot of money to no money,
You're
immediately,
like, yes, I can.
Girl, let's make it happen. So I built my first business over the course of the next 3 years, strictly based on word of mouth referral. In tandem, launched Collab Culture because I went from constantly being around people to being, at home by myself with my own thoughts, which feels very isolating. And that, I think, was when I had this aha moment of, wow, I can actually take my corporate skills that will transcend into being able to bring people together. So as any rational entrepreneur did, I burned my agency to the ground, this 6-figure thriving business, and started from scratch. And that's where the Table was born. And now all the work that I do is bringing incredible people together. And it's like the best ever.
And she's literally the best at it.
Oh,
and we're going to talk more about if that's something you're interested in. She's going to share some tips with us. But I want to go back. So you're like, okay, you're done with corporate America.
Yeah.
You go from making a ton of money to making no money at all. What is your mindset?
Oh, destroyed. It feels so dramatic because people literally lose their jobs every day.
Yeah.
But I'm a firstborn daughter, which usually when I say that, people are like, oh, I see you. That tracks. And just very ambitious, self-identified, high achieving, if you will. So I had never even been reprimanded at a job, let alone written up, let alone let go. And so when I say my world was literally shattered instantaneously, I am not exaggerating. I remember it like it was yesterday, getting the phone call on a Friday afternoon when I was working remote from home, because of course we wouldn't do it while you're in the office the day prior. And I remember calling my husband and just sobbing on the phone and being like, what have I done? Like, our family I'm responsible for helping to support the livelihood. We have 3 kids. Like, I went doom spiral real quick. And God love this man. He was like, it's going to be fine. Right.
Mm.
So calm, so like assured of
Sure.
like, it's not for you and that's fine. And it took me a long time to see that.
To get
And
there.
I got a new job 2 or 3 weeks later. I'm like, I'm very employable, right? Our pride kind of comes in.
Yeah.
We're like, how dare they?
Hey, ego talking.
They're not gonna, right? They're not gonna tell me. Got a new job, worked with them for about 6 months, and the same thing happened. And it was like 2 weeks before Christmas. And I was like, wow, okay. Was I too stubborn to not be listening the first time? Like, what is the lesson here? What am I supposed to learn from this? And it took me a hot minute to get my feet back under me. Now I can look back, hindsight's always
Always
20/20,
better.
right?
Yep.
Silver lining. I literally can't imagine, and also would never have been bold enough to make that decision for myself because it wasn't even on my radar.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was ugly, like very ugly. I laugh because the Instagram account I have now, I originally made as like a creative outlet, and I would post videos of me like organizing my junk drawer, like
Those are the best though. We all need that.
Random, but I had to have something to keep
To
me
do.
busy
Yeah.
because otherwise I would just lie in bed like, woe is me. My
Sure.
life is over, which I get now. It's not that deep, but at the time it felt like earth shattering.
Well, and there could be somebody listening to this that just got let go, that's been having that nudge to like go build their dreams and
Yeah.
take that life in their head and bring it into reality. So like that Haley that's downward spiraling, that is not believing that she can do something, that she just needs to be employable.
Yeah.
What would you say to her?
I would just say sometimes stillness is the hardest thing to do because we're so quick to make a knee-jerk reaction in what's next, that it's like the noise is too loud to actually hear what that is. And I think also not counting ourselves out on opportunities that may be unsuspecting. Because like I said, I worked in corporate healthcare administration. Like when I tell people that, they're like, what? What do you mean? Like not related. What I do now
Yeah.
is indirect skills, right? Skills application.
Transferable skills in a way, but
Right.
completely different verticals.
But not related. And so just exploring like what else is out there and maybe being okay with the fact that it's not working out because it's not meant for you.
Yeah.
And it's going to feel really crappy right now in the moment, but eventually you're going to be able to see the clarity of like, oh, it all makes sense now, which I know is easier said than done, but
well, and I think that we all go through hard times, right? Magic's in the mess, right?
Yeah.
You found your magic certainly there. But I think it's important that when you're getting knocked down or it feels like that, to really try and stop and reflect and ask, like, what is this teaching me? What is this showing me? Because sometimes what's meant for us is going to find us. I truly believe that. When we resist and fight it, then bad things have to happen in order for us to see it.
I know. I'm
right?
like, okay, I hear you. Fine. I'll sit down. But you know what's crazy? So I have 3 daughters.
Yeah.
Now they're 6, 9, and 12. And so when they were really little, I had this guilt of being the corporate working mom, right? Working all these hours, and they were the first to get dropped off, the last to get picked up. I couldn't volunteer in the classroom. I couldn't go on field trips. Like just too consumed with work and just inaccessible to be able to do those things. And I kicked myself and just had so much guilt. But the irony is they were so young at that time that they didn't really realize. And so now I'm like, they're like prime ages where I have the freedom. Like I'm a first grade classroom mom this year and being able to volunteer and do all these things where it's like, oh, this is actually exactly when it was meant to happen. Because then, although I had the guilt, they weren't really as affected as I thought they were.
Sure.
And it's like just such perfect timing that it's like I'm exactly where I'm meant to be now.
Well, let's talk about that because some people might see all the cool things you're doing on the gram and then the mom sees you at school with your kids being present and being a show up mom. And so I think so often we make these assumptions that it's just easy for them. And why can't that be me? But the reality is you put in a hell of a lot of work to create the life that you're living in this very moment.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the journey to getting here. And you start from the beginning of community building because
there's the good and there's the bad. And I want to cover both.
There's a lot. Also, I always say if I was an emoji, I'd be the tornado.
I love this.
Which I'm like, we're just spinning and we're just grabbing
We're just
stuff
making things
along the way.
happen.
Yeah, we're just going on momentum and hoping for the best. Yeah, community building is such a gift, but it also can be this double-edged sword. And I think a lot of times people see, again, even my husband, when I first started this, I laugh because I'm like, I think he just thinks I party for a living. Like I go wear the cute outfits, go to the fun things, and he doesn't realize, especially with women. So like the Collab Culture brand is exclusively for women versus the Table brand is more kind of a hybrid with co-ed. And being under the lens of so many people at once is a really challenging place to be, because I think there's this unrealistic set of expectations that are placed on you as a leader, and this kind of underlying judgment, whether it's intentional or not, where you're trying to be everything for everyone. And that can be really, really hard. So
exhausting.
And when we built Collab Culture, we built it. I have a business partner. We've been dear, dear friends literally since we were like 10. And we've been through every phase of life together. And when we built Collab, it was because we were craving something.
Sure.
And we couldn't find it in the area we lived. And we were like, what would it look like? Tried finding, couldn't. What would it look like if we just made it? And I remember we invited, I think, 12 or so women in our community over to Stephanie's house, my business partner. And we had this beautiful picnic, like dinner. And we covered the cost and we were like, okay, we have to be okay. If everyone hates it, then we're just out the money. Like it is what it is.
Sure.
And, you know, whatever. But we're going to tell these people about what we want and see if they want to do it. And in our minds, we were like, oh, it's the 12 of us. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
We're going to go to a coffee shop and we're going to do this. It's going to be beautiful. So we have this dinner. We tell them, this is our idea. Is it horrible? Do you want to hang out with us? Which is a very vulnerable place to put yourself in. And they were like, it's great.
At least you were face to face though. So it's a lot harder to say no.
Right. I'm like, check yes or no, but also we're watching.
We are looking at you.
Right. And they were like, yeah, this is great. Right. And they all did different things. And we were like, perfect. And so we're like, well, let's throw it online and see if anyone else wants to hang out with us.
Yeah.
We put it online the next day, and within 72 hours, we had 45 people on board.
Insane.
And we were like, oh no. First of all, I guess we're not meeting at the coffee shop.
Yeah.
And
new location, please.
New location. And this turned into something we didn't expect very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And the growth has been organic over the last 3.5 years, but it's really allowed me to see what I want, what I don't want, what I'm willing to compromise on, and what I'm not, and figure out some hard lessons along the way of everything from being taken advantage of, everything from your character being questioned. I mean, there's so many layers of, again, when you are taking the step to put yourself in a pseudo spotlight, if you will, that you're under the scrutiny of all of these people that are in your ecosystem and beyond, right? Because like you said, even through Instagram, it looks bright and shiny. But a lot of times we don't know anything about that person at first. So it's been bumpy. It has not been perfect, but what I will say that I've learned most is really holding firm on not only the boundaries, but like the culture that you're creating and not bending. And saying that incessantly over and over and over again. Like, we create these rooms for this person, for this purpose, has allowed us to really kind of be able to like keep most of the negative energy at bay. Because it's just firm.
Like, they know what you stand for.
If you slide in the DMs and you're like, well, how many other hairstylists are there?
You're out.
It's like a yellow flag, right?
Yeah,
where I'm just like, the directory is public. Go to the website.
Yeah.
Feel free.
Well, it goes to, it's for any business, right? Not just community builders. It's for anything. If you don't have a strong foundation, then people are confused. Your team is confused. The people in your community are confused. And so if you anchor in, my big takeaway from that is, if you're going to start a community, make sure you anchor in, like, what is your mission? What are your key values, and what type of people do you want in your community? It's just, look at it like a business. If you've run a team.
Mm-hmm.
You know what type of team members you're looking for.
Yeah.
And it goes the same. But there's a couple of other things that you said that I want to really highlight.
Mm-hmm.
And that is that in your mind, you were thinking small.
Very small. And I was like so content. I was like, this is going to be beautiful and we're going to meet for coffee. And that was the vision.
Mm-hmm.
Like we never planned to have a website. We never planned like any of this. The vision was very small in the beginning.
Well, and I think that there's a huge lesson to bring out of that is
Mm-hmm.
that sometimes are we thinking too small?
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this today and you are working on something, I challenge you
Mm-hmm.
to question whether you're thinking too small.
Yeah.
Because your mission didn't change.
Mm-hmm.
You were creating something that you wanted.
Yeah.
And it was very heart-centered and aligned for you. And you did it with the best of intentions. But look how big it's grown. And I can attest to this because I've had the pleasure of experiencing collab culture. And if you are near Haley or thinking about joining collab culture, it is a gem if you are open, right? And if you're more community over competition and collaboration and that kind of thing.
I think a lot of people say that, like that's such a buzz phrase, right? And not to say that other people weren't saying it when we started using it, but it's so mainstream now. And I think more people are not.
Let's break it down.
Living that way.
Yeah. Yes. Well, so I just attended Powerhouse Women. And one of the themes there that I loved that really stuck out with me was, are you studying self-development or are you embodying it? Mm-hmm. And I think the same goes for that saying, right? Like you're saying that that's what you are, but are you actually behaving in that way? Yeah. So give us a couple of examples of living it.
Yeah. We have, the first thing that came to mind is we have one of our members. So she's in the home space. So her and her husband owned a home renovation company, and she has been a member of ours for a while, and she had taken it upon herself to create this little micro community within collab culture. Okay. So she reached out to other people that were in the home space, everybody from real estate agents to title company, insurance, smart, interior design, whatever. A lot of them having multiple people that do the same thing, but also understanding that there's something about that industry similarity where you understand the things that people are going through. And also we all have something different to bring to the table, right? Mm-hmm. Somebody may be more gifted in the tech side and systems. Somebody may be more gifted in the sales side or in social media, email marketing, whatever. And if we can bring our gifts together, why wouldn't we? Totally. So she made this little orchestrated, like self-created group within our group. Mm-hmm. And they have their own meetings. They have their own like meetups, right? Coffee meetups, collaborations, partnerships, because she saw the opportunity for them to be able to collaborate in a really specific way. Yeah. And I think that says a lot because arguably, especially in real estate, like they are direct competition to each other, but they recognize that they all have something different to offer, and why would we not put our gifts together? So I think people like that are embodying it and actually walking the walk goes a long way. I think a lot of people say that they're that, but then the second they go to an event or the second that they interact with somebody who does the same thing as them, you can almost feel it.
You can feel it.
You can see like a physical reaction, right? Where like even their body language changes. It's really fascinating. I don't know if
it's like the peacocking.
Yes.
Yeah. They're like, I'm peacocking because this is my lane.
If you ever study like human behavior or just just be an observer, it's so fascinating. I actually said this at the workshop last week where I was like, when you introduce yourself and we actually tell you to not say what you do, and you talk to someone and you just interact, you can physically see people's shoulders will drop, their facial muscles will relax. It's a like nervous system reset that you can physically see happening in real time versus they're wondering, oh gosh, well, what does this person do? Maybe they're, a lot further along than me or whatever.
But you know what that means?
Yeah.
You can learn from them.
100%.
You can learn from them. And the best person to learn from is somebody who understands exactly what you're doing. If you've got that scarcity mindset, it's not going to serve you.
Yeah.
So if you feel like when you go into a room and you're nodding your head like, oh shit, I do that. Oh my gosh, Haley, that's me. She sees me. That's okay. That just means you have room to grow.
Yeah.
And it's just a signal that, hey, why, like, let's lean into that. Ask yourself why. Yeah. And it's fear more than likely and scarcity.
Yeah. I get asked all the time, why do you share other people's events on your stories or on your social? Like, why isn't that counterintuitive? Because you're an event host and you're doing all these things. And it's such backwards thinking, where those are the kinds of things where I can tell, like, you are living in a scarcity mindset.
Yep.
Because to me, I don't even think twice.
Nope.
I'm like, absolutely, this is great.
You text me the other night and I was like, give me the code. I'll share it right now. Let's go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I just think that there's practices that can be put into play that you can do every single day, of just really even checking in with yourself of like, how did I react to that? And I wonder where that came from.
Yeah.
And it just becomes an act of like one micro step every single day to really work towards that. Or understanding if you're not in a place that is for you, maybe that's something you need to unpack at a higher scale.
Sure.
But for some people, it comes a little more naturally, and for some, it's going to take a little bit more work.
Yeah. Okay. I love this. So let's go. You've been in community building for 3.5 years now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a lot of learning, a lot of ups and downs, highs and lows. Give me your like Cliff Notes version for somebody who's green. They're starting a community now. What do they need to know?
For somebody who's starting a community, the biggest tip I would give you, it's actually the least about you. And that's humbling. Some people think that that's very like, how dare you? Because on the same note, it's actually the perfect top of funnel to be able to create energy to pull people into that are your ideal client, and to be able to serve them in a really powerful way that they will, of course, want to work with you in other capacities. But when I tell people it's the least about you, I usually get two reactions. One, they're like, rude. Or two, they're like, oh, wow, how freeing. You know, it should be a massive weight off of your shoulders, because when you realize it's the least about you, number one, you stop trying to be everything for everyone, but also you are able to redirect your energy into creating opportunities for people to connect with each other. And that is really, especially for sustainability and retention and keeping people in your community, it's really important to understand that you are not enough, right? And if you are thinking you're enough, they're probably staying more out of guilt and obligation than genuine connection of wanting to be a part of this community. So that's definitely something I would tell somebody, is it's the least about you. And once you realize that, there's so much value that comes from that lesson. The second piece that I would tell people is stop overthinking the details. Everybody is hyper fixated on, well, what platform and what tech stack and what is the price point and whatever. Don't
just
worry
take
about
messy
that.
action.
Messy action.
Serve the people.
Pick a day and get people together and get curious. Ask questions. Find out what it is that people are looking for, or have that clarity going into it, and be really, really consistent with that message so that you're making sure you're calling in the right people. Because you want to make sure expectation and experience align. You don't want to be saying one thing but attracting the wrong person. And then you're having to do all this messy work trying to deal with like remediation or whatever if they're causing issues within your community. So getting very clear on the details don't matter. When we launched Collab, we had a Facebook group.
Perfect.
Free Facebook group. Great. We did workshops every single week. So we meet once a week. 4 virtual workshops a month and 1 in person. And when I tell you that my soul was literally sucked out of me that first year, because getting 52 speakers, first of all.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Right. On top of actually making sure that they're vetted, high quality, and making sure you're not rinsing and repeating the same topics too often is so exhausting. And what we realize when we ask people is like, we're not actually implementing anything because we don't have time, because we're learning something new every single week. So we're like, oh, this is interesting. Well, what do you guys want? They're like, we just want to hang out more. Okay.
How about that?
You can do that for free on your own time. They're like, yeah, but like, we want you to orchestrate just like putting it together. Perfect. Cut the workshops in half. 1 virtual, 1 in person a month. And then we do an online like connection call and a coffee shop connection or a coffee shop meetup.
I love it.
Smitten, right? Smitten. And that will evolve over time, right? Now we're going to be going into year 4, checking in with people. What does that look like? Now we're on Circle. We love it. It's great. We literally just moved there in October of 2024.
3.5 years later.
Like we were in Facebook. And honestly, people would have stayed there. I was probably the one who wanted to move out the most. But yeah, it's not that serious, and your feet aren't in concrete. So just start. And if one person shows up, what an opportunity and gift to make an intimate connection with that one person.
Yeah.
And go from there. And it's not about you, which is a gift. I promise.
Such a gift. Such a gift. Well, and I think that one of my favorite things that you said is I do think people overthink the details. And I do think many people start communities for themselves.
Yeah.
And the ones that stick around are the ones that don't. So if you're going, ooh, that stings a little, might not be the best idea.
Sure.
Because the reason that yours has worked is because you genuinely want to serve people.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, again, understanding that on the front end is super important. And especially in 2025, community is so buzzy. Like that word is so trendy. Everybody wants to start a membership or, you know, a subscription, which isn't necessarily a community either.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of times we use these things interchangeably and we're like, oh, that's actually a group coaching program, or that's actually a mastermind, or that's actually, you know, whatever. But it's definitely buzzing.
Yeah.
So just because the internet tells you it's the thing doesn't mean it's the right thing for you. And maybe it's not a forever no, but having that clarity on the front end will save you a lot of headache.
So let's talk about this, because you are a networking queen. You are anyone that meets you, they're like, Haley's my bestie, including me. And that's because of the way that you lead. But I know that you've seen some things, some not so pretty things. So talk us through some of the not to-do list items, because I feel like sometimes people learn more from that. Things that you don't want to see in a room, that you don't want to do in a room.
So many things.
Oops, sorry.
I'm like, we could do a whole series on this. I think for me, I'm such a servant leader.
Yeah.
So part of that's very organic, but I'm always going to look to serve first. I'm never going to go into a room and ask right away, unless obviously prompted, right, by the host, where if they're like, how could the room support you, or something like that. But I think for me, major red flag energy is, this is going to sound so petty, but when
Let's
people
hear it. Give us the dirt.
When people are on their phone, when they're actively engaging with you, to me is like an immediate no. And listen, I get it. We're busy. I get it. Some of it's like subconscious. But that's like not my responsibility. That's your responsibility to be able to manage that behavior. And so I think if somebody's on their phone, it's not like I'm going to throw a fit, but it will be like a bless and release moment for me, where I'll just like move on and just be like, hey, I'll see you later, and move on in the conversation. I think also people who go into a room and act one way, front facing, if you will, but their behavior outside the room says otherwise. It feels
unpack that a little
very disingenuine. My greatest compliment is if people meet me in person for the first time and they'll say, right, like, I feel like we're besties. People who have never met in real life, and they're like, you're exactly how you are. Online. Like, it's the same.
The best compliment.
It's the best compliment. And so many people, even at Friday's event, like, I've had relationships with them for years. They don't live here. But it feels like we've been friends forever. And I think I've been using this term a lot. I'm going to say it, but it's not the right word, but you're going to get where I'm tracking. The entrepreneurial landscape is very incestuous. That's not the right word, but we're going to go with it.
We're going with it. I'm here for it. I subscribe.
It's very like, it's this web of like very tightly woven connections. And so I think for a lot of people, they think the world is so large. So they think that they can act one way in person, but then they can act a different way, or they can act one way to your face, or then they can, be saying otherwise behind the scenes. And it's actually such a small world. And so more often than not, those things are going to come full circle. So I would encourage anyone who's listening that maybe you're having a little bit of a convicted moment where you're like, oh, is she talking about me?
She is.
Right. Just think about, like, is that the perception, right? Is that the perception that we want people to have? And if you're like, screw it, I don't care, then like, you do you, boo.
Well, and I think you should challenge yourself to go, if you're talking about people or saying negative things, that's really a reflection of you and how you're seeing the world. It's not so much them. And I would challenge you to go, how old am I? And how is this serving me? Because I can assure you that it's not. And sometimes it's like, a nervous tick, so to speak. It's like how you connect with people.
Yeah.
If the people in your life, you're talking about people instead of about dreams and things that go deeper, there's a bigger problem.
Yeah. I mean, I literally said this yesterday where I stopped going to a service provider specifically because all they did was talk about other people while I was there.
Yeah.
Not to me even necessarily, just while I was there, and they're constantly talking about other people and gossiping, and it's just not the energy that I want to be in. And so for some people, they live on that, right? They're like,
they do. It's
trash
they like
TV.
get high on it almost.
Yes. And I'm like, that's actually very draining for me, and it's not something I'm interested in being a part of. So even though it was like an indirect domino effect, I think we underestimate the impacts that can create, because again, the world is so small. Word travels fast.
Yeah.
So just being conscious. I've like been struggling with that word this
week
for some reason.
Words are hard this week. We had a long week.
We had a long week. Yeah, of that, and just doing again some reflection. Also, I pivoted into the co-ed space with the table last year because
let's talk about that.
Yeah, well, yes,
let's talk about
this
it.
is like one of my big red flags is like the bro fest meat market energy, where it's just very like cold plunge to the moon, blah blah blah. Like it's very aggressive. To me, is just like a no. You know, it's just a hard no, and so I saw this gap where I was like, there are men who, listen, I'm not a big raw gal. Like, I love it in short spurts, but generally I will tend to gravitate towards things that are strategy or even tactical. Like more connection, like human connection. And so I saw this gap where I'm like, there are men that can talk strategy. We can actually offer immense value bringing this masculine and feminine, you know, energy together, but also they can like hold an intellectual, vulnerable conversation.
They can get in their feelings.
And like, I don't need you to cry, but if you want to, like, by all means.
But we can talk about an emotion.
But you can just be like a normal human.
Yeah.
And so I leaned into that last year, and it's been really fascinating to see the men that it's called in, because although arguably they're still the minority in the room, they could care less. Like even at the conference this year, there was 10% of the attendees were men, and they were just aligned.
Okay, but I'm going to speak from experience, because I was there and they were some of the best men
so good
I've met in a long time.
Yes.
And so you really do attract, and it's because you are so clear, like we talked about in the beginning, about your mission and your values and what that experience should feel like and who you should be if you want to be in it.
Yeah.
And so if you're listening to this and you have a male friend that's struggling for a community that's in Arizona, I highly recommend you go check out one of Haley's table events.
Yeah. It's understanding and holding consistently to that boundary. Because I could surely go into a room, and I've been doing more co-ed events and stuff since that transition. I could go into a room and say, anyone with this appendage is welcome to join, but that would not be aligned with the core values of the table and what we're trying to create. And honestly, it would dilute the experience for everybody else who came here in the first place because that's what they were craving. And so I think it's really important, instead of just chasing numbers and volume, to make sure that you're being really consistently holding that boundary, because in the long run, it's going to be so much more fruitful than having again to do like cleanup after the fact.
Let's talk about that. I want to really feature and highlight the table experience for you because I got so much out of it. Thank you. I can't wait to attend in February. And so we've all been in rooms where we were like, oh, this is not the room. This was the room I was like, I want to be here. Let's like keep it going. Maybe do 3 days this year. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. So tell us a little bit about what to expect from the table, and where anyone listening that's like, I want some community. I would love to bring my husband or a friend that's, a male. Tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah, it's a 2-day live event that is in Tempe, Arizona, February 20th and 21st, 2026. And I do a pop-up series of events about monthly throughout the year, but this is a really immersive experience. And basically I did the same logic, or applied the same logic I did when building collab culture. I was like, what can I not find? What are the things that I like? What are the things that I can set aside and do without? Yeah. And big things for me were curated opportunities to connect with other attendees, accessibility to speakers to be able to talk to them and like actually have a conversation, and they're not just like hiding in the wings. And then lastly, getting the opportunity to choose relevant topics that are applicable to me right now, rather than like square peg, round hole, trying to make it work. But you're like, oh, I'm not
You're
really
a good
sure.
speaker, but I get that.
Exactly. So the format is actually changing a little bit for 26, which I'm super excited about just based on the feedback. We had a 100% show up rate, which I feel like is truly unheard of.
Haley, that is so huge. Congratulations.
Yes,
That's
you.
just such a testament to the leader that you are.
It was just so great. And so I think what our people are really wanting and what we're going to take into 2026 is workshop style keynotes where it's very interactive, hot seat opportunities. I mean, it's giving giant whiteboard right up there, and
I love a good whiteboard moment.
Right. And like walking through, but actually having you do the work, because there's nothing worse, right, than walking away with this giant to-do list and feeling debilitated by not having the opportunity to take action in the room. So we'll have that. We'll have these curated networking opportunities. I'm going to be leading some workshops and talks on both days, which I'm really excited for. Still bringing back the hot seat roundtables. So last year we did this. Basically, attendees got this menu of topics, and they were able to rank them based on most applicable to least applicable to me currently. They got it about 6 to 8 weeks prior to the event, so it was real time, and they just ranked them most to least, and then we placed them at tables. So they got 4 opportunities, 4 different topics to spend 45 minutes with only 5 other people. So it was a group of 6, and then a facilitator, and no agenda, no slides, no presentation. Ready, go. What are your questions? And you knew your tables before going into it. So if I'm at a podcasting table, I already know, oh my gosh, okay, I have a seat at this table. Prep your questions ahead of time.
So great.
And glean information from the other people that are there. We also placed the VIP night after day 1. Which is very strategic, because I think a lot of times if it's on the front end, you kind of glom on to the people that you came with.
You become cliquey. Don't become cliquey.
And on the back end, you're like, I'm gassed. I actually have nothing left to offer. So we do it after night 1. Or after day 1, if you will. And so it gives, again, more intimate, closer proximity to be able to really connect with people and ask more questions of the speakers that you're not getting in like the main day-to-day programming. So I'm super, super excited. We've got some fun event partners, sponsors, activations, and it is small, arguably speaking, compared to the norm. We're actually capping it at 125 attendees for 2026, which I think will be such a sweet spot. And even we did this confessional activation, which you participated in last year.
So much fun.
Which is so fun, and just like gave people an opportunity to get in front of the mic and just be them and not feel stiff and talk about funny stuff. And you were beatbox rapping and like it was such a vibe. So bringing all that energy back to 2026. But I'm really, really excited. I'm very much in the boat of like intentionality and curating an experience for people. I actually am kind of calling it like an anti-conference because I chose the word experience specifically because I wanted it to feel very immersive. So very, very excited. And yes, please, we had people come from Canada,
all over,
Oregon, North Carolina, Nevada, California, literally all over. So you don't have to be local to attend. But yeah, I'm really excited to bring it back.
So first, thank you for putting together such an intentional experience. Even just what you just mapped out for us is so methodically thought out to the person that's coming. And that is why you sell out. That is why your rooms are so fun. So where can someone go buy their ticket?
Yeah, you can go over to my website, HaleyWestfall.com/events. If you go there now, there is currently a wait list. So depending on when this comes out, the tickets may be already live, but HaleyWestfall.com/events is the best place. They're not live yet. The link for the wait list will still be there for you to join. And when they're gone, they're gone. We actually did a pre-sale. I turned 40 this year. Woo-hoo. So for my 40th back in April, we did a little mini pre-sale for our wait list. So we are actually already 20% sold out from that. So that's super exciting. So definitely head on over. If you're hearing this, do not wait. I know everybody
Don't
wants
sleep
to
on
wait to buy their tickets
I'm
to the last
going.
minute, but when they're gone, they're truly gone. Please don't slide into my DMs asking me.
That's me. She's talking to me. She is talking to me right now. I feel attacked.
I have more flexibility there. This event, I do not have more flexibility for.
Fair.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to do a fun lightning round
Okay.
because these are my favorite.
Okay, great. I can't wait.
Okay, so we are going to talk about our favorite thing, which is coffee.
Ooh.
What is your go-to coffee order?
Iced vanilla latte, whole
All
milk.
day.
Yep.
This is why we're friends.
Yep.
Okay, best piece of advice you've ever received?
Ooh, it's not that serious.
Let's hear that again.
It's not that serious.
Friends, it's not that serious. Okay, dream guest you'd like to have at the table.
Ooh. Oh my gosh, now you're putting me on the spot.
We're going to tag them. We're going to reach out to them for this.
Dream guest that I would like to
while
have
she's
at the table.
thinking, just go do a little rewind and listen to all the thoughts she's putting into that event. Dream guest.
Oh my gosh. I'm literally drawing a blank.
I'm going to put some fun music in.
I know. Do. I don't know. I'm going to have to marinate on that, and I'm going to need y'all to slide into my DMs with some suggestions to jog my memory.
Come back to it.
Yeah.
If someone pops in your head
Okay.
towards the end, we drop the name and we make the ask. We shoot the shot.
Great. I love this.
All
Okay.
right. What's one non-negotiable ritual that keeps you grounded?
Ooh. One non-negotiable ritual that keeps me grounded. This is going to sound so weird.
Say it.
It's very random and obscure, but I like sleeping with a sleep mask.
Oh, okay.
So I was at an event, I don't know, a year and a half ago, and there was a sleep specialist that came on and talked about all kinds of effects of sleep on leadership abilities and all of these like indirect effects. And one of the things that I took away was, he talked about ideal temperature of your room, like all this biohacking stuff, which normally I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. But the sleep mask thing, I was like, this is interesting. He's like, even the tiniest bit of light will affect your sleep. Yeah. And the little red light on the smoke detector or, whatever the case may be. So I thought it was witchcraft, obviously. And
so I tried it.
But I was like, I need a sleep mask, but I have lash extensions. So I need one that isn't going to smash my eyes. Found the perfect sleep mask on Amazon for like $8. But I literally, it's like my blankie, like my toddler blankie.
Do you have extras just in case?
I was just telling Imbal this weekend that I need a second one. I need to keep one in my suitcase and one because I take it with me. Yeah. And so if I do not sleep with it, this sounds dramatic, my day
is rough
the next day. So that is like one thing that is essential, that is $8.
We're gonna need the link. We got to link this for the friends.
Link in bio.
We got it. Don't gatekeep.
Yes.
We got to know where the sleep mask is.
So simple. Amazon, literally, but like such a freaking game changer. And I just think it's like super fascinating that something so simple.
I'm a pitch black sleeper for sure. Yeah. But I don't do the mask, so I'm gonna have to try it.
But I thought I was because I'm like, all the lights are off. No. On even the moon, like barely coming through the blinds. Huh. It's not pitch black.
Okay, well, we're going to get the link. So don't worry, friends. You're going to get the best sleep here coming soon. All right. So one thing I like to do with all of my guests is celebrate a win because I truly feel like we as entrepreneurs, we're so go, go, go that we don't stop to like pat ourselves on the back and reflect and go, wow, that was pretty cool. So what is a magic moment you could celebrate in this last week?
Oh, I decided this year I'm going to train for a half marathon.
Okay.
Now, I literally don't want to run to the mailbox.
Okay. That makes two of us.
Always been an active girly, not a runner, not my gift, not something that I would even choose to do. Yeah. But I have a friend that was like, do you want to do this with me? And last year she had twins and open heart surgery. Oh, so I feel
can't really say no to her.
Right? My excuses are weak. And so I committed to running this half marathon, which I'm like in training. So actually this week I'm celebrating reinvigorating my training because I took a week off. And the one thing about momentum is like it's strong when it's going, but when it halts, it's like next to impossible. It's like dragging through quicksand to get going again. And I did not want to. I actually rolled my ankle walking, which is, just ironic, over the last weekend. And I had every excuse in the world to not be able to run. But I told myself, we're not breaking promises to ourselves anymore. This is this is unacceptable. I don't care if you are barely shuffling your feet.
You're moving.
You are going to get up and you are going to run. And so I did that this week, and it was not super fun, but I did it. So that's what we're going to celebrate.
And you created the momentum.
I did.
I love it. That's huge. It's so easy to give up on ourselves when somebody else isn't there. And you didn't do that. So I love that. That's such a great moment.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So tell our friends where you like to interact with them, because you truly are like internet. You find all your friends on the internet. We've talked about this.
Yes, this is where I call in all my best friends from.
So she's open to besties on the internet.
Yeah.
So where can we internet with you?
Yeah, mostly on the gram. So the Haley Westfall is my Instagram handle. That's where I hang the most. It is me who is answering your DMs. Also, be prepared for voice notes, because that is my primary form of communication. So if that's not for you, I don't expect you to have to reply with them, but it will be what you get from me, whether you like it or not. I am actively trying to reinvigorate my LinkedIn. So maybe come find me there too, because
that'll give her some accountability.
We could use a little push. Yeah. And I don't know, are you on TikTok?
I am, but I just
why are they so mean?
It's hard.
Literally, I was like,
our age? I don't know.
I'm like, are we too old to be here?
If you're listening to this and you're good with TikTok, let's get you on the show so you can help us.
Because I'm like, I want to think I need to be there.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, as a consumer, they just seem so savage that I was just like, I don't know if this is my best yes.
I try, but it's not, the energy's not there. So my rule with social media is I play and stay where I feel good, and then I just repurpose for everywhere else. So I'm not creatively being like, ooh, what TikTok should I do? I'm just reposting the reel I made on Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
You know? And then I'm talking to you on Instagram because that's where I feel good. That's energetically where my happy place is.
Okay,
on the internet.
That, actually. Yeah. Hashtag boundaries.
Yes. So start there, I suppose.
Yeah, perfect.
All right. Well, Haley, it was so nice to have you.
Thank you
for coming and sharing your magic with us.
Thank you so much.
All right, friends. If you like this episode, like, share, review, and let us know what you thought. Reach out to Haley and I.